Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to another brand new video. I hope you guys are all doing well. So in today's video, I want to talk about Bitcoin, and I really want to talk about, where will Bitcoin be, 2 years from now, right? So in the next, 2 years, where will Bitcoin be price wise? So of course, I'm talking about the year 2025 because we know in the year 2025 is going to be an amazing year for Bitcoin, right? And not just Bitcoin, but of course the entire, cryptocurrency market. That's pretty much when alt season will in fact happen as well, where we do in fact see, majority of altcoins in the market pump. Okay, just like what we saw in 2021, our last bull market. So in the next 2 years, okay, of course, 2025 is going to be an amazing year for Bitcoin and crypto, and not just for Bitcoin and crypto, but of course other markets and of course house markets will potentially rise as well. Everything will potentially rise, guys, right? If Bitcoin is rising and crypto is rising, everything else would potentially rise as well. So, Bitcoin in the next 2 years, where do we see Bitcoin? And I have, in fact, been talking about this subject a fair few bit, but today I thought to myself, why not go ahead and make a full video just talking about, where will, Bitcoin be potentially in the next 2 years, which is pretty much the year 2025. Okay, so will Bitcoin reach a new all-time high in 2025? Okay, and just to answer that, guys, of course. Okay, of course, we will in fact see Bitcoin reach a new all-time high. We know the next Bitcoin halving event is in fact about to happen, and I've been, mentioning this many times. Every single time, guys, we do in fact see a halving for Bitcoin, we do in fact see Bitcoin pump the most, right? Every single time we have the halving, that is where Bitcoin tends, to pump the most, right? That's where Bitcoin really has the next bull run. So the next halving is in fact going to be happening in the year 2024. Okay, so next year in around April. Okay, so April of 2024. That is when the next halving is to be set for Bitcoin. Okay, and you guys have to understand, once we actually have the halving, once Bitcoin actually has the halving, it's not going to pump straight away. Okay, so that's why I've always been mentioning that, we might not actually see Bitcoin pump straight away once the halving actually happens. So maybe, towards the end of the year in 2024, that's when we will in fact see Bitcoin really pump. And then of course, the year 2025, when that comes around, we're going to see Bitcoin really pump. Okay, so of course, Bitcoin's obviously going to be reaching a new all-time high. So 200K, right? Is that going to be the top for Bitcoin? $200,000 in 2025, right? Is that, going to be Bitcoin's, new all-time high? Well, there is in fact a fair few charts, and I'm just letting you guys know right now that these charts I have, in fact, showed you guys in the past. Okay, so it's nothing new, but they are in fact very, very important. So we know we're about to enter the next cycle for Bitcoin, and this chart is indicating that yes, we will potentially see Bitcoin reach $150,000 to 200K. Now, yes, in the year 2024 to 2025, we will easily see Bitcoin reach a new all-time high. We know Bitcoin's previous all-time highs was in fact at about $69,000, almost to 70K. We didn't see Bitcoin quite hit 70K. It was close, but not quite. Okay, so it was around $69,000. That was in fact Bitcoin's previous all-time highs. I'm gonna say this right now: we will easily see Bitcoin reach back up to its previous highs. Okay, that's easily gonna happen, and we're gonna easily see Bitcoin reach, $100,000. Okay, so I really do believe, okay, yes, 200K is very, very possible for Bitcoin. And now here's another chart indicating that yes, we are in fact about to see Bitcoin, okay, have the next bull run. We are obviously still in, the pre-bull, I would say. And yes, we are still in the buy zone. We're still in the, accumulation phase, right? So we all should be accumulating as much Bitcoin as we possibly can. I've been mentioning that many, many times. Okay, Bitcoin right now is still in bear conditions. Bitcoin is still nowhere near back up to its previous all-time highs. Okay, it's not even halfway there yet. So if you really think about it, we are still in a great buy zone. Okay, so for all the people that are wondering when should I buy Bitcoin, it should be right now. Okay, it should be right now at this level where Bitcoin is still at $29,000. Okay, so I think right now is the perfect time to get into Bitcoin and to buy more and stack more, right? I've been, mentioning that many times now for a very, very long time. Okay, so that's that. Now, yes, can we actually see Bitcoin reach 300K? Okay, so if Bitcoin were to reach $300,000, okay, in the next, bull market, of course, in the next 2 years in 2025, this is what the chart would look like. And I must say, it looks pretty realistic to me, okay, because I personally think, okay, and I've been mentioning my personal, Bitcoin price predictions for the next bull market a lot, okay, I realize that. So I've been mentioning that, Bitcoin could actually potentially reach a top of around 200K to 250K to maybe even $300,000. Okay, that is just my personal prediction of where I see Bitcoin in the next bull market at its peak, at its next, new all-time high. But people out there are saying that Bitcoin could potentially go higher than 300K. This chart is indicating right in the next bull run, the next bull market, Bitcoin can go as high as $350,000. Do I think that's possible? It can be, right? But I'm gonna stick with 200K to 250 to 300K max, right? But a lot of people out there are in fact predicting that Bitcoin can go way higher than 300K in the next bull market. Time will tell. We will see. You guys have to say no one actually realistically really knows where Bitcoin is heading in the in the next bull market. Everyone's just making assumptions and predictions, just like myself and everyone else, right? On social media, so no one actually really knows where Bitcoin is heading next. But understand, it's going to be around these price targets, all right, of 200K to 300K, maybe even over 300K. I think that is a very possible price target for Bitcoin to reach in the next bull market, right? So yes, like I said many times, we are in fact in the pre-bull, okay, and yes, we're not officially in the next bull run just yet. But understand, once we actually have a halving right here in April next year in 2024, which is right around the corner, it's literally less than a year from now, that is when we will in fact see the next bull run happen for Bitcoin. So be excited for that for all my Bitcoin holders out there that's watching this video right now. Some exciting times are in fact happening. We should not be feeling bearish at all. We should be feeling very bullish, okay? The future for Bitcoin is really, really bright. And I'm telling you guys right now, the next bull run is going to be completely different compared to previous bull runs that we have in fact been seeing for Bitcoin. The next one's going to be absolutely a game changer, right? It's going to be completely different compared to these other bull runs that we have in fact been seeing for the past. You know what I mean? The reason why I say this is because now a lot of people, and when I say people, I mean just not retail investors like you and me, right? Not just people in general, but you guys understand the big guys, right? Big companies are in fact getting into Bitcoin and crypto in general. You know what I mean? They are in fact coming into the space. For example, we know a lot of different institutions like BlackRock, Fidelity, Invesco, Vanguard, all these big guys are in fact coming into Bitcoin and crypto. That's what you guys understand. So in the next bull run, it's going to be a complete game changer. I'm telling you guys that right now. So I'm super pumped, okay? And I hope you guys are in fact as well. Now, I really want to show you guys this, okay? Even though, yes, Bitcoin is not really moving, it is in fact consolidating. You guys clearly see that. This is what Bitcoin has in fact been doing, okay? If we go to the 7-day chart right here, you guys clearly see Bitcoin has just been literally consolidating, right? Not much movements at all for Bitcoin for the past week. For the past month, same thing, right? It's literally just been consolidating. You guys can clearly see that, right? This is the 1 month chart, and you guys clearly see Bitcoin has not been making much movements. I feel like we have been seeing Bitcoin stuck at about like 29K to 30K to around $31,000 in between these price targets for the past like almost 2 months now, right? So Bitcoin literally has not been moving for the past like almost 2 months. You know what I mean? But understand, guys, right? Since Bitcoin is still not moving, this is a great opportunity to DCA into Bitcoin and buy as much Bitcoin as you possibly can while you can when Bitcoin is below, at this level of $29,000, right? It's below 30K, right? So this is obviously a great opportunity to buy as much Bitcoin as you possibly can at this price level because, in the next few months, potentially, right, we're going to see Bitcoin reach new highs. Okay, it's going to have new pumps up. It's going to have another leg up to like $35,000 to 40 to 45 to 50. I've been mentioning this many times. personally, I do in fact see Bitcoin reaching at least 50k or slightly over 50k towards the end of this year in 2023. So while Bitcoin is still not really moving for the past almost 2 months, it's stuck at like 29k to 30k. It's the most important time right now to, buy as much Bitcoin as you possibly can, because Bitcoin is bound to bounce back up and have a new rally up to the upside. It's going to have another leg up, like what we have in fact been seeing for Bitcoin ever since the beginning of 2023, right? We know that January it was pumping, okay, February was sort of pumping, and even March it was pumping as well. We know that, right? Bitcoin was absolutely pumping up to the upside. So we're going to have new leg ups for Bitcoin, right? We're going to see that. So if you guys look at this chart, you guys clearly see in the next halving, right? Once the halving actually happens, that's when Bitcoin's going to pump. And you guys clearly see Bitcoin has so much room to go, right? And you guys clearly see in previous halvings, you can just see how much Bitcoin has pumped every single time we have the halving event. Okay, Bitcoin does tend to pump the most, and it will, right? It's just part of what Bitcoin does. It's part of its history, right? So back in 2014, you guys can clearly see, okay, it did in fact pump. 2013, it pumped as well. And you guys can clearly see in 2017 as well, pumped. And of course, 2021, we know what happened. Bitcoin did in fact pump a lot. So for the year 2025, which is the next 2 years, we're going to see Bitcoin pump a lot, right? 2025 is going to be an amazing year for Bitcoin and crypto, okay? And of course, for other assets out there in the market, right? So be excited for that. Understand, yes, times like right now, it's boring. Bitcoin is not really moving. The market is not really moving. I understand that, right? For almost 2 months now, this happens, right? This is not the first time, but understand, if you really zoom out, you guys clearly see it's going to pump. A massive pump is coming for Bitcoin. Okay, it's incoming, right? It's going to come, guys. Okay, so that's that. Be excited, guys, for Bitcoin in the next 2 years. But on that, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, and of course, subscribe to the channel if you guys have not yet already. More videos will in fact be coming your way. I will obviously keep you guys updated on what's going to happen with Bitcoin. So stay tuned for that. Subscribe, and of course, while you're at it, might as well turn on that little bell so you guys are in fact notified when I upload a new video. I really would appreciate that as well. But on that, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and end this one. Hope you guys have a blessed day as always, and I'll catch you guys all in my next video. Have a good one, guys.